I'm still shaken, dear friends, as I recount the soul-crushing experience that befell me at the Leonardo Hotel Aberdeen. It's a story of promises unkept, dreams shattered, and the very fabric of trust torn asunder. As I stepped into the hotel's lobby, a sense of nostalgia washed over me, like the warmth of a crackling fire on a winter's eve. I had heard whispers of this esteemed establishment, how it was a beacon of luxury in the heart of Aberdeen. Alas, my dear friends, those whispers were but a cruel deception. Let me paint a vivid picture for you, dear listeners. The room, a laughable excuse for a luxurious abode, was a dimly lit, cramped affair. The once plush carpets now resembled a faded, tired smile, worn down by the weight of countless disappointed footsteps. And the bed, oh the bed, a sagging, creaking monstrosity that seemed to whisper sweet nothings of discomfort throughout the night. But I digress. The true tragedy, dear friends, was the bathroom. A sanctuary where one seeks solace and rejuvenation had been transformed into a dank, mildewy cave. The shower, a pitiful excuse for a refreshing oasis, spewed forth brown water, like the very lifeblood of the hotel itself was being drained away. I was forced to wash my weary body in a vile, chemical-infused concoction, a travesty that left my skin screaming in protest. And then there was the matter of the so-called dining experience. Oh, the humanity, the breakfast, a meal so lazily prepared, it was as if the chef had merely phoned in their resignation. Stale pastries, congealed eggs, and a coffee that could only be described as an affront to the senses. It was as if the hotel had deliberately set out to extinguish any lingering embers of hope in my heart. But what truly broke my spirit, dear friends, was the service. Oh, the service. A cold, unyielding indifference, as if the staff were mere automatons, programmed to spew forth hollow apologies and empty promises. When I begged for a room change, a simple request, really, I was met with a dismissive shrug, a callous disregard for my well-being that left me feeling like a supplicant at the altar of indifference. And don't even get me started on the false fire alarms, dear friends. Count them, 2 instances of screams, panic, and a nightmarish dash down the stairs, only to be met with the apologetic smile of a hotel worker who seemed to be saying, "Oh, sorry about that, dear guest. Just a little technical difficulty. Carry on then." As I lay in bed that night, my heart heavy with the weight of disappointment, I couldn't help but wonder, what kind of establishment would so callously disregard the well-being of its patrons? What kind of management would condone such atrocities, and then have the audacity to tout themselves as a 4-star hotel? Tell me, dear friends, have you ever felt so utterly defeated, so thoroughly betrayed by a promise unkept? It's a feeling akin to being lost in a wilderness of broken dreams, with nary a beacon of hope in sight. And so I leave you with this, dear listeners, beware the Leonardo Hotel Aberdeen. For in its crumbling facade, you'll find a labyrinth of broken promises, a monument to the hubris of an establishment that would rather sacrifice its
The businesses surrounding the Leonardo Hotel Aberdeen, they're a peculiar breed. A collection that, frankly, leaves a rather hollow feeling. It's not outright malicious, not a den of villains, but a pervasive sense of disappointment seems to cling to nearly everything. It's like the area is perpetually offering a slightly chipped teacup when you were hoping for fine china. And believe me, after sifting through the accounts of those who have ventured nearby, that feeling solidifies. It's a landscape where promises often fall flat, where corners are cut, and where you might find yourself wondering if anyone truly cares about delivering a decent experience. Let's start with dining, because a hungry traveler is rarely a happy one. And the restaurants, well, they seem to operate under a unique set of rules. The first being a startling disconnect between ambition and execution. They want to be impressive. They clearly aspire to something more, but the reality consistently falls short. Moonfish Cafe, for instance. It positions itself, or at least tries to position itself, as something akin to a Michelin star experience. The reality, based on what people are saying, is underwhelming. It's a place where scallops arrive with unwelcome geological inclusions, actual stones, mind you, potentially chipping your teeth. One individual, celebrating a birthday, ended up with a fractured tooth and unanswered emails. A chipped tooth on your birthday. The audacity. It's a level of disregard that settles in your gut like a poorly cooked meal. Then there are the inconsistencies. Meals arriving lukewarm, raw, or simply missing key ingredients. And the service, while polite enough, doesn't seem to extend to actual problem solving. Or, heaven forbid, a sincere apology. You get the impression they're operating on autopilot, going through the motions, while silently hoping you won't notice the shortcomings. It's not simply bad cooking, it's a fundamental lack of attention, a carelessness that's almost insulting. It feels like they're expecting you to be grateful for being allowed to spend your money with them, rather than striving to earn it. This pattern extends to Keafreya, the Thai restaurant. It appears to be a place of broken promises and logistical nightmares. Large groups pre-booked, with pre-orders confirmed, and then left waiting for hours. Hours, and not a pleasant, relaxed waiting. A frustrating, increasingly desperate waiting, fueled by the realization that Deliveroo orders are seemingly prioritized over actual diners. It's as if they've lost sight of the basic principle of hospitality, serving those who have deliberately chosen to patronize your establishment. Complaints are met with dismissiveness. Apologies are non-existent, and the whole experience devolves into a battle for a refund. There's a strong sense that they're overextended, unable to cope with demand, but unwilling to admit it or offer a genuine solution. One review detailed a party left without food after a 3-hour wait, a celebratory meal ruined, and a general manager who seemed more interested in smirking than resolving the issue. It's a level of incompetence that is disheartening. It doesn't inspire confidence. It leaves you wondering what's happening behind the scenes, what systemic failures are allowing such a situation to occur. Then you have establishments like Curated Aberdeen. The review data is minimal, but revealing it's simply expensive. That single word speaks volumes. It suggests a place that prioritizes profit over value, a place where you're likely to feel overcharged for what you receive. It's a warning, a quiet signal to proceed with caution. And the wine bars there attempting a sophisticated vibe, but it often feels forced. Sugarbird Wines, for example, boasts a good selection, but the execution is flawed.
Unwelcoming staff, inconsistent service, questionable hygiene, dirty toilets, wine served in previously used ice buckets. It's the little details, isn't it? The things that speak to a lack of care, a disregard for basic standards. And then there's the dress code. A dress code in 2024, it feels arbitrary, exclusionary, and frankly, a bit ridiculous. It's a subtle form of gatekeeping, a way of telling certain customers they're not welcome. It suggests a preoccupation with appearances over substance, with style over genuine hospitality. The Union Square Shopping Center presents another layer of unease. Descriptions of emptiness, decay, and a disconcerting presence of homelessness and mental health issues. Trash everywhere, a lingering smell of urine, a general sense of neglect. It's not a place that feels safe or inviting. There's a palpable sense of businesses near Leonardo Hotel Aberdeen, like some of them are not real. It's so sad. Tourists come thinking, oh, this address is real, I can go there, but no. Like take asbestos removal Aberdeen Limited sounds official, right? They said their address was 15 Huntley Street, but when you go, nothing, just empty. And tourists, they need help, they trust, they pay, and then nothing. I think they just stand there confused, holding their money, feeling stupid. And the scammers, probably laughing somewhere, but police must have caught them, right, then there's Dean Roofing. Oh, they put Nigkirk Road like it's a real place, but it's not. Tourists with broken windows or leaks, they call, they pay deposit and poof. Gone, and what can they do? Fly home with broken window, so unfair. Vanguard Home Repairs, same thing. 25 Carden Place, but no Vanguard, no repairs, just lies. I think maybe tourists cried. Who wouldn't he? You save for trip, then boom, scammed. And the people doing this, they sleep fine. How? ESB Roofing Limited International Avenue sounds fancy, but it's fake fancy. Like a cake with no inside. Tourists search, find nothing, lose money. And Aberdeen just lets this happen. I don't get it. Worst one. Royal King S Mail using Victoria Street like it's real postal service. Tourists send gifts, money, documents, and it's gone. No tracking.